Hello and welcome. In the previous episode, I introduced Articulate. Today, I want to answer a much more important question. Why does it exist at all? Imagine you've joined a new company as an architect. After the introductions, your first question is probably something like this. Can someone show me the current architecture? It's a simple question. So someone points you towards the company wiki. There are hundreds of pages. A few architecture diagrams, some architecture decision records, a collection of PowerPoint presentations, maybe a few recordings of previous architecture reviews. At first glance, it looks like everything you need is there. But after a few hours, few days, sometimes something doesn't feel right. Some of the diagrams are a couple of years old. Some systems appear in one diagram but not another. The documentation is full of three-letter acronyms that no one has explained. Some pages contradict each other. Some links no longer work. And before long, someone says, "Don't trust that diagram, we've changed it since then." So you ask another architect, then a developer, then someone in operations. Each person gives you another piece of that puzzle. Slowly, a picture begins to emerge. Not because you found one document that explained everything, but because you started connecting lots of small pieces of information together. Some of those pieces were facts, some were opinions, some turned out to be wrong, some raised even more questions. Eventually, you build enough understanding to begin making architectural decisions. And that's when I realised something. Architects don't spend most of their time creating architecture. They spend most of their time trying to understand it. Understanding what exists today, understanding why it ended up that way, understanding what changed, and understanding what can safely change next. That's much harder than it sounds, because architecture doesn't exist in one place. It exists in diagrams, documents, in source code, decision records and monitoring systems, and in conversations with people who know the system best. Every one of those sources tells part of the story. None of them tell the whole story. It's like trying to navigate a landscape covered in fog. Each conversation clears a little more of the view. Every document reveals another landmark. Every decision helps explain why the landscape looks the way it does. But the fog never completely disappears. The system keeps changing. New projects begin. Old assumptions become invalid. People leave. Knowledge fades. And the picture you work so hard to build slowly becomes unclear again. For years, I assumed this was simply the nature of architecture. Then I started asking myself a different question. What if the problem isn't that we don't have enough documentation? What if the problem is that we're trying to understand architecture from disconnected fragments of evidence? What if the architecture isn't really diagrams or documents or decision records? What if those are just simply evidence? Perhaps architecture is something else entirely. Perhaps architecture is our own current understanding of the system, an understanding built from evidence, one that evolves as we discover new information, one that becomes more confident as assumptions are tested, one that preserves not just decisions, but the reasons behind them. For a long time, I didn't think software could help with that. Software is good at storing information. It's very good at searching information. But understanding is something we've always had to build ourselves. I think AI has changed that. Not because it can generate code, that's useful, but it isn't what excites me. For the first time, we have a technology that can help connect information, highlight contradictions, ask questions, and challenge assumptions, and help us gradually build understanding from incomplete knowledge. That led me to a simple question. Could we build something that helps architects understand architecture in the same way that architects already do? Not by replacing architects, but by replacing diagrams, by helping us clear a little more of that fog. That's what Articulate is exploring. It's an experiment. It's an exploration into whether AI can help us discover, understand and reason about and involve complex software systems. I don't know whether that vision is achievable. That's why this is a journal. You can see the ideas, see the ones that work, the ones that don't, the architecture decisions, the trade-offs, the experiments, and inevitably the mistakes. Because if AI is going to change the way we build software, I think it's worth exploring whether it can also change the way we understand it. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode.